Every game is a must-win game, especially if it is in the NFC. And the Detroit Lions have quite the gauntlet coming up in the next 4 weeks. They face the Arizona Cardinals on the road. Then they play the Seattle Seahawks. We go into our bye week. Then we head to Jerry World and play the Dallas Cowboys. And then we play the Minnesota Vikings, who are surprisingly leading the division after 2 weeks. Now, it's early. A lot of things can change in the next 15 weeks, but the Detroit Lions, for the first time in a while, are behind the 8 ball. Believe it or not, I think they were this time last year either tied for first or in first place, and they never gave it away. They never gave it away. They lost in week 2. They won the next 4 games, and from that moment forward, they were always in front in the NFC North. And now we are at the point where we in week 3, and the Lions need to win this game. Now, a little bit of history. The Detroit Lions, believe it or not, have started 1-1 for the last 3 years. The entire time year 2, 3, and 4 now, under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they started 1-1. In 2003, we started 1-1. We rattled off 4 straight to go 5-1. In 2022, we started 1-1. We wind up losing the next 5 games. So it could go one way or another. Now, we are a better team than we've been the past couple of years, but we have tougher opponents. And I think a lot of you guys lost that when it comes to, we'll be fine next year. Don't forget, this is the toughest opposition that we've had in the last 4 years, right? So my son is blowing up my phone at lunch. So the Lions have to win this game, and they face a surprisingly good Arizona Cardinals team. Now, a few things as well. Kyler Murray has not beaten the Detroit Lions in his career, and the Lions have not lost 2 in a row since 2022. So it's been almost 2 years. I think it was the middle of October since the Lions have lost 2 games in a row. So there's that. They got that working for them. Now, let's go over the stats and compare these things and see where the Detroit Lions and the Arizona Cardinals kind of line up. All right, so here's coming from ESPN. Look at that game cast, man. The Detroit Lions are barely kind of percentage-wise favored to win this game, 51.2% to 48.4%. Jared Goff not having the best start to a season, 52 for 83, 524 yards with 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. This is a number. He has to go turnover-free this game. When he throws at least 1 interception, it seems like we don't really win those games. So he's got to clean it up. Kyler Murray, look at this. He's only not completed 14 passes, 38 for 52, 428 yards with 4 touchdowns. David Montgomery, 28 carries, 126 yards with 2 touchdowns. James Conner, 37 carries, 172 yards with 2 touchdowns. I would like to see that number match David's. I mean, you're talking about, 9 more carries. We have to run the football. Jamison Williams, who is tied for second, I believe, leading receiver with 10 receptions, 200 yards, and 1 touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a kind of a less than stellar first game, but then a absolute dog of a second game. 5 receptions, 134 yards with 2 touchdowns. Arizona Cardinals, the Detroit Lions, we have a plethora of Lions that are questionable, but according to Dan Campbell's press conference today, Alex Anzalone is still up in the air. We'll know more about him tonight, but I feel like he might, or this afternoon, which is Friday, I feel like he might be a game-time decision. Isaiah Williams, Terrion, Ennis, Rakestraw, and Graham. It seems like these guys are going to play, or that they're leaning toward playing, and the Arizona Cardinals list is right here. If we go to the last 5 opponents, let me see. The Arizona Cardinals, including the preseason, are 1-4, and the Detroit Lions, including the preseason, are 3-2. Now, if we go over to a stats comparison here, points per game, this is the offense and of both teams. The Detroit Lions rank 16 to the Arizona Cardinals 2nd. They're only under the New Orleans Saints. Total offense, the Detroit Lions are 2nd. The Arizona Cardinals are 7th. Rushing offense, the Detroit Lions are 9. Arizona is tied for 4th. Passing offense, we are 2nd in the league to their 15th. So we know how we can exploit them there. Third down, 8. We are ranked 8. They are ranked 1st at 58%. This is a problem for the Detroit Lions, but we'll see what our defense does on third down. Red zone efficiency, we are abysmal. That's what happens when you go 1 for 7. We are 28th, and they are 6th. Giveaways, we are tied for 19th with 3. They are tied for 8th with 2. Now, if we go to the defense, points per game, we are tied for 12th. They are tied for 16th. Total defense, 14-13. Rushing defense, we are 4th to their 9th. Passing defense, 21st. Man, my stats was kind of on, man, to 19. Wow. So our defense are kind of neck and neck here. Third down defense, 14th to 3. 14 to 3. That is a big deal. Then we have red zone efficiency on defense, 18 to 22. Takeaways, 14 to 14. We are tied. So the Detroit Lions on defense are pretty evenly matched. The offense is surprisingly good for the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm going to tell you right now, we need to stop Kyler Murray. That Marvin Harrison Jr. can't have him go off. We need to stop Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is I mean, he has probably some of the longest plays I've ever seen on offense. Just when you think he had a couple last week, just when you think he's down, he is wiggling out of a tackle. The dude is elusive. And I thought about this. I don't know who exactly is going to be on Marvin Harrison Jr. I would guess Carlton Davis with the injury potentially to Terrion Arnold, but I thought about it. I was like, man, you talking about either Terrion or Carlton Davis. The opposition they had to go against. Puka Nacua early, Cooper Kupp later. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Then you have Marvin Harrison Jr. Then you have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Then you have CeeDee Lamb. Then you have Justin Jefferson. Like this, come on, man, right? So our pass defense is really going to be up into it. I'm going to keep it a buck. Stop Kyler Murray. That's all we got to stop Kyler Murray. That's it. Whether it's if we have a chance to sack him, we must do so. We cannot whiff. We cannot let him escape from the pocket. He will destroy you. Okay? Stop Kyler Murray. The number one thing we need to do, and I'm just going to say, period, stop Kyler Murray. Because if you stop him, you keep Marvin Harrison from getting the ball, right? So one thing I can say is the Detroit Lions have played Kyler Murray extremely well. If you go back a couple years ago to the season that we weren't very good, I think it was that first season under Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. We start 0-10-1. We get our first win against the Minnesota Vikings, and then we start clicking after that. And I think soon after that, we played surprisingly, I think the Arizona Cardinals were like 7-0. They were one of the last undefeated teams in the league. I think they lost by the time they played us, but they were really good. That was the year that Matthew Stafford went on to win the Super Bowl, and they wind up getting waxed by the LA Rams in the playoffs. But they fell apart at the end. But while we played them, when we played them, we dominated that game. It was at Ford Field, but we came in. I really didn't think we were going to win that game, and we just took it. I mean, Amani O was getting picks. We was killing them, right? So very similar to like the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. Yeah, it was last year. Jacksonville, we came in and was it last year? No, it was the year before that, where James Houston was sacking Trevor Lawrence and all that. They were surprisingly good that year, and we weren't great, and we came in and dominated them. So the difference is we're going to be on the road as opposed to home for both those games. But Dan Campbell said something today that I thought was interesting. He was talking about the camaraderie, that kind of like, not that their back is against the wall, but they have to reevaluate. And sometimes it's kind of good to be in the trenches by yourself. How home games are great and all that stuff, but outside of the fans that are traveling to Arizona, the team is by themselves. And it gives them an opportunity to kind of reassess, regroup, look at themselves, dig in, and find out who they are. And I think that we're going to need that. We're going to need that. This is a big game. The next two are huge. So, man, this is going to be a tough game for the Detroit Lions. I will call some losses in this season. I will call some losses. I will not be biased. Okay. Here's what I'll say. I'll say that the Detroit Lions can win this game, but it's a caveat on both sides of the ball, right? They have to be able to score in the red zone. They cannot go 1 for 7. If they do that, we win the game. Okay, a lot of you guys think we're going to dominate the Cardinals. I don't know about that. But, and on the defensive side of the ball, they have to contain Kyler Murray. I didn't watch Aaron Glenn spy, I didn't watch what he said about the spy comments, but I don't even think we have a linebacker that's capable of spying Kyler Murray. Like, you would have to have a secondary player. You would have to put somebody with speed and you still probably wouldn't be able to do it, right? So I think that if we score in the red zone on offense and if we contain Kyler Murray, I think the Lions can win this game. And I think with their back against the wall, and again, it's just there are things that this team, we know that they're capable of. Like I said, haven't lost a game, 2 games in a row in almost 2 years. That's a big deal. Kyler Murray has not beat the Detroit Lions. That's a big deal. I'm sure they want to keep that going. And I think with this team, and sometimes I think we play our best ball with our back up against the wall. And it might not seem like it early, but it's a lot of Minnesota Vikings, man, winning games and things like that. The Lions need to win this game. I think they do. If those 2 things apply, they contain Kyler and they score, and they might be able to give up some points, but they got to score them. If the Lions can score points, we win. Our offense is still top tier. You can see that our offense in total offense, we're second. We just can't score. So we do that, we win the game. So I think the Detroit Lions win the game. They move to 2-1 and 1-0 at home. I mean, on the road. And we get this done, man. And we get ready to face a Seattle team. So I'm not overlooking the Arizona Cardinals. They have everything they need to beat us. And they have our kryptonite, which is a mobile quarterback. But if our offense can pick up the slack, I wouldn't even be mad at the defense necessarily if Kyler kills us, because we expect that to happen. I mean, he kills everybody. So we expect that to happen. Right now, we need that offense to start clicking. I tell you what, defense can do all they can do. If that offense doesn't click, we're in trouble. But I think the Lions win this game. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. You guys could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.